Coach Tut Brown here. So I'm sitting in the park outside today. It's such a fabulous day. It feels nice and warm. Huge difference from winter. So I was thinking about one of these things. I saw a podcast today with a guy, and he went to Ghana, and he's a Ghanaian, but he's been living, I think, in Europe, maybe England, and his statement was that a lot of ex-Ghanaians or people from the islands or the Americas basically are leaving Ghana because of their expectations of what they thought it would be uh, is not up to par. So he had some suggestions, and based on his reasoning, he said it's because in America and in other parts of the world, you can just walk out to the street, to the local supermarket or the local food store and buy whatever you need in terms of fruits and vegetables and other provisions. And it's not so easy. It's not that convenient in Ghana, he says. And I thought to myself, well, what's wrong with a little work? If you have to walk a little bit to get a little bit of what you want, what is the problem? The other thing that he said was that people go there with the idea that they're going to do exactly what they did in America, which is you wake up, you go to the newspaper or you go to the internet and you look for a job and you'll find a job. Not, not exactly the same. Not exactly the same. Well, no, of course not. In the country I was born, you literally have to create your own job. You have to be self-sufficient. You got to grow your own yams. You got to go sell it at the market, and you have to you got to find someone to buy it. You got to be patient. You got to first of all grow the yam, cultivate the yam, and take it to market, and someone's going to buy it, and you get money, and then you start over again. That wash, rinse, and repeat philosophy. Of course, you're not just going to go there and find a job by looking in the local paper. There's like millions of people already there doing the exact same thing. You got to basically create something for yourself. So I say to that, they don't have to leave. You stay there and tough it out. It's not that bad. The weather is good, apparently, and you're certainly not going to be facing the kind of racism you face here in the West and in Europe. And I'm fairly certain that if push comes to shove, you can live under that coconut tree or that ackee tree or that palm tree, or you don't have to be struggling that someone's going to come kick you out of your apartment. You can find somebody. The other thing that he said was that people go down there and because they can't find a job, they end up living on their own resources or whatever savings they had when they were abroad. Well, yeah, that is true. A lot of people do that, and you really can't go back home without a few dollars in your pocket. You're going to struggle. The other thing, because the last time I remember I went back home, the first thing that my niece said to me is that don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to anybody, because the minute you open your mouth, someone is going to discover, they're going to hear you, and then they're going to discover that you're not local, and they'll take advantage of you. Very true. The other thing was that as soon as you land at the airport, this is what she said, land at the airport, people can see that your shade, your complexion, gives you away that you're not from there. It's not like you went to Florida for a couple of days and then you're coming back. This is not it. This is basically that you are living somewhere else and you're coming back home for a few days or a few weeks. And so you look different. And so you can get taken advantage of because you look different and you sound different. Very true, because I was warned. I was also warned about that sort of thing. However, look, no one said that going back home and repatriating yourself wasn't going to be, it was going to be some uh, walk in the park. It isn't. It's difficult stuff, and you got to be prepared. So go down with your few dollars in your bank account. Yes, go down with the expectation that you're going to be picked out of the crowd, and you're going to have to work hard. You're not going to find a job just like that in the newspaper. In fact, I was looking at going back home, and one of the first things I started to do is to look at the local classifieds and help wanted sections and business opportunities that they have back there. And this is something that I would suggest to people to do. Find out the business opportunities, find out, see if you can land a job before you go if you want a job. And if you're going to go and grow something, figure out what is it that you're going to grow, and you figure out what the need is and the demand, and you want to find out where you can grow this stuff, and if you can get seeds and so on. And the other big thing that this gentleman said was that people go down there and they typically go one or two and they don't have a real support system. This is extremely important. In fact, it's probably the number one thing. You have to have someone or a bunch of people that you're going to. Most of the time it's family. When I went back, I had family pick me up at the airport. I touched bases with them before I went down. And then they picked me up at the airport and they took me to whatever place they live at, or took me to the hotel that I was going to stay at. In my experience, and in the times I went back, I stayed with family and they picked me up at the airport, and also I stayed at the Airbnb, and I stayed at the resort a few times. It really helps when you have people there that you can rely on. Listen, I forgot to say this. I want you to like this video. I want you to subscribe to my channel, and I want you to comment. So share, like, subscribe, and comment if you can. Anyways, let me continue. So it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that people are going back. And my kids went to Ghana on a tour because they perform, and they had a great time, and they were able to go to the castles that people were held in for slaves and taken to the Americas. And they had, it was a really good experience. And I wouldn't go back and say go to Ghana because I want to see the slave castles. I would go to Ghana because I want to go back to the source. Look at where my gene pool came from. I want to know that. I don't really want to see where the slaves or where people were held and turned into slave, or captured people were held and then wait to be shipped off and used as chattel. I don't really want to see that. I'm not fascinated with that sort of thing. I'm more fascinated in immersing myself in the culture, and reconnecting with my original history, my original culture, I should say, my original clan. I'm very encouraged when people say that's what they want to do. In fact, there's a girl that I was very interested in many, many years ago when I was in university here. And she was doing I think she was finishing off her master's. And she went to the university in Ghana and met somebody there and never came back. In fact, I think she just came back to get a few trinkets and then decided to go back. And it's been 25 years. Haven't seen her since. So it's been good for a lot of people. And I encourage people to at least go back and don't do I'm going to Haiti or I'm going to Jamaica or Barbados for a couple of days or 7 days. You got to be prepared to go there and spend about at least 2 to 4 weeks at a time and figure out, what people you come from, how people are living, and that sort of thing. So listen, I am. This is the WeBrainstorm podcast, and we're on every day. And I want you to like, I want you to share, I want you to comment and subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to build a channel. I really love this, man. So, hey, listen, take it easy. Have a good day. We'll talk again soon.